Well, good afternoon, folks. Good day. I'm here at Forest Lawn Memorial Park in the Hollywood Hills. I just came from Mount Sinai Memorial Park, which is next door to this one, visiting the grave of Rodney King. For those of you that are below 30, you may not have ever heard this name. Perhaps you've read it in history. But on March 3rd, 1991, Rodney King was severely beaten by officers of the Los Angeles Police Department after a high-speed chase on the 210 freeway. As a result of the beating, which was captured on film by a local resident and was put on the news, and the four officers involved went to trial and they were acquitted of criminal charges. There was a massive riot that occurred in Los Angeles as a result. Rodney himself begged publicly for an end to the rioting. He didn't want people hurt, and that's why he said, and it's quoted here on his tombstone, "Can we all get along?" I am 100% in agreement with Rodney King about that, so I'm going to put a stone by his grave. Just to quote John and Yoko Lennon, they said it a different way: give peace a chance, which the rioters weren't interested in doing. But I do have to hand it to Rodney King. He didn't want violence. Now, stones are not permitted in this cemetery, so once this filming is done, I'm going to take the stone away. I'm going to honor Forest Lawn's rules. But anyway, just to give you a brief background on Rodney King. He was born in Sacramento, California, in 1965. But on the day in question, on March 3rd, 1991, after being pursued by the California Highway Patrol at speeds of up to 117 miles an hour, he admitted that he had been drinking and that he was on parole at the time, and he didn't want to be caught and sent back to prison. So he tried something that's highly inadvisable. At high speeds, he tried to evade the police. He got off the freeway onto public streets, which is where the Los Angeles Police Department then had jurisdiction. They had to take it over. Rodney was resisting arrest. He had two passengers in the car with him who were also caught and charged with various charges of speeding and evading police and public endangerment and whatever else they were charged with. Rodney was resisting, and the police got involved to the point where they were clubbing him hard. They tased him, they clubbed him. He had quite a lot of bruises on his body. He had a broken right leg. A year later, the four officers involved were facing criminal charges. Three of them were acquitted. It's very hard to make criminal charges, or I'm saying it's very hard to make criminal charges stick against a police officer because their job can be very complicated. Three of them were acquitted. The last officer, there was no verdict reached on him. The public reacted by basically trying to burn Los Angeles to the ground. It went on for days, and President George Bush Sr. sent the military there. He sent the Marines. California sent the National Guard, and they eventually restored order. As I said, Rodney himself begged for an end to the rioting. He didn't want anyone hurt. The federal government then pursued a civil rights trial against the officers, and two of the officers were found guilty of violating Rodney King's civil rights because I'm going to look for that tape, the video that was filmed by a local resident. He was filming them, and yeah, they definitely went overboard, way beyond what they needed to. But anyway, two of the officers were found guilty, and then a year after that, in 1994, Rodney King won a civil lawsuit against the city of Los Angeles and was awarded $3.8 million in damages. Now, keep in mind, Rodney was no angel. The Rodney King Foundation now exists. It was established by his daughter 10 or 12 years ago. And it's a good foundation. I mean, they're doing good works. But his daughter was only 8 years old when Rodney was beaten severely, and now she wants to do something good for the community, which is great. But as I said, Rodney was no angel. In 1989, he robbed a store in Monterey Park and beat the store owner with a pole, and got off with $200 during the robbery. So he was sentenced to a year in prison. When he was speeding along the 210 freeway at that time, he was on parole. So, you know, the rest we saw on film. Most of Rodney's problems had to do with alcohol and drug addiction. He got into a drug rehab program. It was in May 2008. He checked into the Pasadena Recovery Center in Pasadena. And he was filmed on season 2 of Celebrity Rehab with Dr. Drew. And congratulations to Mr. Rodney King. He actually got clean and sober for several months. But as so many people in recovery do, I worked with clients in recovery, and it's heartbreaking what they go through. But as so many do, he fell off the wagon. He relapsed into drugs and alcohol. At the time of his death, on June 17th, 2012, he was living in Rialto, California. That's quite a ways from here. It's in Riverside County. He drowned in his swimming pool. Cynthia Kelly, who was his partner, found him dead underwater in the morning. And the result was accidental drowning. And the combination of alcohol, cocaine, and PCP were also found in his symptoms. The darn guy just relapsed. And I mean, he tried to get free, but you know, he couldn't stay clean. So my hat is off to Mr. Rodney King for trying, and he actually succeeded for a while. I'm very sad that he didn't make it. But folks, don't do drugs. Don't do alcohol. If you need a crutch, if you need a support, if you need something that's sure, lean on God. Trust in His Word. Because drugs and alcohol are going to take you on a one-way street all the way down to destruction. So my sympathy to Miss Laura King, his daughter, and his family. His funeral was officiated by the Reverend Al Sharpton, because Rodney became a symbol of civil rights. To an extent, I can see why that was true, because Black Americans for many decades were basically targeted by law enforcement. So anyway, things are better now, I think. The Rodney King Foundation has established ties with law enforcement and local communities, so some good has come out of this. So Rodney said, "Can we all get along?" John and Yoko Lennon said, "Give peace a chance." The Lord Jesus Christ said, "My peace I give unto you. Not as the world gives, give I unto you." So rest in peace.